Well, Quinn Simmons is going to try and slot into the slipstream of Tadej Pogačar. This is the steepest part of the second part of this climb.
This is dangerous for Remco Evenepoel as well, if he's caught too far back.
Well, Tadej Pogačar, with still 100 kilometres and a little bit more to go, has decided to accelerate on the climb. It's Baggioli who's coming across the Italian. Quinn Simmons, with his 1970s retro moustache-forward beard, into the slipstream of Tadej Pogačar, who has opened up a lead here. This is fascinating stuff. The gap has come down by another 10 seconds. 1 minute and 29 seconds still to go. Tadej Pogačar, by the looks of things, Adam, has decided to take things into his own hands and rip this race apart. This is what, and that's into a slight headwind. He's just looked around. Baggioli cannot cope anymore with just the ridiculous ferocity of the tempo that this man has set, race after race, en route to carving himself. Tadej Pogačar all out of the saddle. This is his first initial punch. Vermaak straight into his slipstream. Pavel Sivakov of France is there behind. And look at the gaps now starting to open up. Simon Geschke just getting slightly detached here. Look at the gap.
Your eyes on this, because Sivakov is starting to struggle and Tadej Pogačar following the motorbike. He's riding like a motorbike. A first Giro Tour double in over a quarter of a century, a monument in Liège, and this could be the moment he puts that little bit of acceleration in and rides away, yes, with 51.5 kilometers to go, alone now, perhaps to the world title. Let's see. Tadej Pogačar, the modern sports all-round wizard. He stunned us all at the start of the season, attacking with 80 kilometers to go in Italy. He's bettered even that here. Attacking from 100 kilometers from the finish. And no wonder he's emotional. No wonder he's believed. Because he had to believe. It's Pog's world in professional cycling at the moment. And these are Pog's worlds. Tadej Pogačar and the rainbow jersey, the perfect fit. 100 kilometers. Straight to the action, and straight away you can see that the weather's not so great today. Lots of big names here. The rainbow jersey is here, the new rainbow jersey in the shape of Tadej Pogačar. However, we've not really seen those rainbows for a little bit of a while. First news is that there's no helicopter, I'm afraid, today. The conditions are too poor for that to happen. And look who's here. It's the new world champion. Rainbow jersey on his back, and the first time we get to see him in that jersey. Changed jerseys at the front here, because we saw UAE Emirates controlling for most of the day. Now Lidl Trek have taken off, and they are trying to close this down, giving their leaders their best opportunity to try and take on the likes of three-time defending champion Roglic. Pogačar, who's never won this, but who is up there now in the rainbow jersey for the first time. Evenepoel's here. Plenty of others able to show themselves as well. Remco Evenepoel not taking any chances. He's their second wheel already there, right at the front. Primož Roglic had just been moved up as well. You can see that the Red Bull Boro Hansgrohe team were looking after the three-time winner and defending champion here really well. The king of San Luca, Primož Roglic. Martinez there or thereabouts as well. Pogačar is being looked after, isn't he? And it's a scary place to be. You see all the paint on the roads here as well, Matt, with these wet roads and the twisting and turning they're going to have to do. Here is that first left turn, and ascent number 1 of 5 of San Luca starts right now.
Tadej Pogačar is now on the front. champion. Oh, Evenepoel already pressing on.
This is impressive.
This is
the front there,
very
we
impressive.
looked at it, and already the first ascent you could see that Pogačar, Roglic, Jorgensen, Evenepoel were all there at the front, and it is Evenepoel who's not quite putting in a big stinging attack, but certainly pulling things along. Roglic is reacting well on the left-hand side. Pogačar sticking to the wheel of Evenepoel, who will be feeling after last week that it's his time to strike back, and already a lot of damage is being done beyond the first 15 to 20 riders, and they're not ready yet at the first passage of the Curva delle Orfanelle. And now then, we get our first proper attack, and it's immediately marked by none other than the world champion, Tadej Pogačar.
I think he just likes going fast, doesn't he? Anybody wants to go fast, he said, I just want to go fast as well. It's just this, he didn't need to follow him. He didn't need to, but it's just this instinct that he's got, this, look at the gap that's already opened. This is a good move.
And now Tadej Pogačar, while the cameras are away, has taken off, and this is just the first of 5 ascents up San Luca. Last week it was 100 k's out. This week they've waited. He's gone. Can they stay with him? Jorgensen is the man who's attempting to do that. But at the moment, Tadej Pogačar in full flight here in the first ascent of San Luca. And well, we've seen this film before, Matt Stevens.
What could you say? There's still a long way to go, but in the world of Tadej Pogačar, 37.5 k's, it's about 50 minutes, isn't it, on this sort of circuit? He's absolutely flying. The only rider that can anywhere near match him, or can't quite match him, is a couple of seconds off there, is the American Matteo Jorgensen. But after that little foray, that almost like a little testing turn on the front from Remco Evenepoel, a slight flex I think it was, the world champion has gone clear. Wow, this is impressive. What is going to happen behind it? And Pogačar, well, he's taken things to his own hands and he's gone clear. What more can you say about this man?
What did they do? They awoke the beast. Evenepoel there with the push on at the bottom.
Yeah.
They all tried to follow. It was an attack from Astana, Kazakhstan that was followed. And Tadej Pogačar, whilst the cameras are away, rode away. Jorgensen tried, for the moment has failed, and it's Pogačar alone. But there's still a lot of firepower behind if they can organise and if they can race smart.
Here we go. That's what I was talking about, Rob. We're back on the climb again. Where can they chase? They can't. And this man can afford to maybe knock it back a little bit, but I don't think Tadej Pogačar has got a switch that says knock it back. It's just full gas, isn't it?
Did it as much as possible on the descent there. You could see there was a bit more urgency behind. Pogačar taking it that little bit more conservatively, and that's reflected in the gap at 31 seconds, which had gone up to almost 50 to that group. But here he is, and this is much like means business, Pogačar. Johannes Stonemit chasing to try and help Matteo Jorgensen. Tadej Pogačar about to come through the finish line for the second time in San Luca. His gap's said to be around 47 seconds now. 3 more laps to go. He was on the first ascent, he went away. Or a handscroller and off in.
He's kept it up
to the vegetation. 1:13 to the single chaser. Almost a minute and a half to the group. Only Pogačar messing this up somehow will prevent him winning this race. This is one that he hasn't won. This was another one to add to the palmarès if he could. Tick off a box, and the form he's in, well, because we make it sound so easy, it isn't that simple. Anywhere near that simple. No. But he's making it look like it. Rainbow bands on his back, New Jersey new outfit, same old Pogačar.
Tadej Pogačar again, still 2 laps to go when he passes through this time. He'll be aware of that time gap, there'll be the information passing through, but just look at his demeanour. He just looks in control, doesn't he? He just looks as if there's still, should he need to, there's something more under the hood. Certainly not maxed out there, but again, he'll be disfeathering it at or near the red zone, maybe just a little bit below.
2 laps to go. Pogačar now with 15.5 kilometers to go. Descent time.
And he's back on the climb again. He's back on the climb again, Rob, and somewhere on that, even on the descent, he's found another handful of seconds.
A class act.
Yeah.
Quick drink and off he goes again. 11 kilometers to go. 2 times up the climb though. It's almost 2 minutes to Lipovic. It's 2.5 now to the group.
I didn't notice that feed at the bottom there. Basically, he's got a Soigner at the bottom, so he's taking his last sip of the bottle at the bottom of the climb, binning it, and taking a fresh one over the top. So he's making sure that he rides without that little bit of extra weight. So just every detail is accounted for, isn't it? Just flicks around that little pothole there, seated, flicking the pedals around. He does make it look so easy.
Bell rings on the finish line for Tadej Pogačar. Ultimo Giro, last lap in this year's Giro dell'Emilia, 107th edition of a race that began in 1909. And since 1909, there's maybe been a handful of cyclists who could be put up there in the bracket with the man who's winning this race right now, Tadej Pogačar.
Pogačar descends a lot on the hoods, so a lot of riders descend on the drops, but he's just happy to descend on the hoods here. Just hands over the brakes, just looks so comfortable. It's not just the way he rides on the flat, he descends so well. Most of the top pros descend really well, but there's a real relaxed way that he is on his bike, just almost nonchalant, just completely and utterly at one with that machine. It's just incredible to see that crazy fluidity, the high, there's that pedal stroke that he has. And again, for anybody who likes to talking about the details of his bike setup, he rides incredibly short cranks, 175 cranks, just flicks them round. It looks quite different on a bike, but there's just a ridiculous efficiency about the way that he pedals that machine, and it's impressive to see.
Again on the steeper section, out the saddle, kilometre to go kite just above and in front of him. Just as it was last week, it is this week. 6 days after the exploit of exploits, after that 100 kilometre to go attack, Tadej Pogačar is at it again, this time with his brand new tunic upon his shoulders. I said last weekend that Tadej Pogačar and the rainbow jersey was the perfect fit. Tadej Pogačar all alone. And yes, you can hear it. They scream his name. It's like a football crowd out there for him today. And yes, nobody scored as many goals in one season for a while as this man. It's going to be win number 24, but that is nowhere near the most remarkable thing about what we're seeing again today. It's that insatiable attitude to go out and fight and win, to entertain, to race on instinct, not just following the plan, and to have the legs to back up everything he wants to do on the road. Doesn't matter the condition, doesn't matter the road, doesn't matter the place. He's there, he's winning, and behind they fight for that title of best of the rest. This time in the rainbow bands, Tadej Pogačar winning the Giro dell'Emilia and making yet more history.
74 minutes have been binned from our breakaway, and that means that we have a very determined UET Emirates. Brian, is it Tadej Pogačar's right to fight today, or dare I say Ayuso? Might he be allowed off the leash today?
No, I think 100% it's all for Tadej Pogačar today. I think he made, a mistake in that final in Quebec on Friday, and I don't think he likes making mistakes. Of course, after the finishing line, his best buddies, that bro love between Michael Matthews and Pogačar Pogačar. We mentioned it the other day about Michael Matthews coming to see him in the Giro d'Italia, so respect there, but it's going to be all-out battle today.
UAE Team Emirates are trying to beat everybody with a cudgel at the moment.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laps left. Gone. He will be very quickly caught. I think he really has gone. Mohoric is making a determined effort with this, and Mohoric is the master of this kind of thing. We're inside now the final 50 kilometres, which means we have 4 laps left to go. Still Juan Ayuso on the front for UAE Team Emirates.
So now, of course, are UAE Team Emirates engaged in the chase, and it's fallen upon them. They are, of course, intending to deliver, we believe, Tadej Pogačar. With 48 kilometres to go, Brian, it's still up for grabs, and this has been a sifting process, and an awful lot of riders have decided that they're going to head to the truck and watch this one on telly.
Yeah, it does look ominous though, however. 4 riders for Tadej Pogačar at the front for UAE Team Emirates.
This has got very selective. With 37.6 kilometres to go, it's Matej Mohoric who's up the road, or it has been for a while. 10 seconds only is the margin, and I don't think they'll have any fear here, UAE Team Emirates, of catching this. Here's Tadej Pogačar on the blower. Now, he's the man that is almost despite his age, is an impresario. Tadej Pogačar looks like he's regathering himself and indeed his team. They did an awful lot to close this down. They now find themselves in the driving seat. They don't want to deliver other teams fresher to the final lap ride. 24.2 kilometres from home, and stepping up and out of the saddle, Micah. It's down to him now. And there it is. Novak did a fantastic job. He pulls to the side of the road, the Slovenian champion. Comes to the world, and look at the effect of this. Micah just stamping on the pedals, and Pogačar's absolutely rock solid and with him. And the gaps are opening up already, Brian. This is significant. This is your move. And here we go. Pogačar's going now. He's going to fly the coop. Pogačar, 2 bike lengths, 3 bike lengths. It'll be 4 in a moment. Jorgensen staying with him, and just looking a little bit further back to see anybody else who's got the will. It's Alaphilippe who's trying to rock and roll with it, but Pogačar has flown, and this is further away than I thought. He takes it on this major peak, and he now wants to own the day, and by a significant margin. Well, we said it's been an awful long time before anyone had gone solo, and he's doing it again. Oh, look at that! A country mile, and indeed separation, almost galaxies apart it seems. When Tadej Pogačar's in this kind of mood, he's been dictating everything. He is the impresario, and he said goodbye to everybody. He called for Ralf Micah to do the last job for him, and then he said to himself, if you want a job doing properly, do it on your own. And that is what's happened. There is a huge void here between Tadej Pogačar and everybody else, and if you had any doubt as to whether he had what it takes to deliver in the Worlds, then after such a busy season, then think again. He's absolutely in charge, not only of his own destiny, but those around him as well, Brian. Remarkable. We had to wait an awful long time, but it's happened again. I'm not writing everyone else off at the moment, but they're going to need a fighting force if they're going to cross this gap. Alaphilippe shows them all a back wheel. He rested up, maybe just regathered himself, and now he's pouring it all on. But we've seen this before, Brian, and sometimes he runs out of resources. Sometimes, back in the past, this has produced just a little bit of magic. Well, I'm not quite sure whether he's still what it takes to deliver this kind of punch. Certainly a knockout punch to Tadej Pogačar seems beyond his resources. Let's wait and see. Spanish champion just bridging up. Their problem is that it's Tadej Pogačar who's up the roads, and catching Pogačar is not an easy task. Time trial mode for him, 37 seconds, I think unbridgeable, Brian.
Yeah, it looks like it, and you know, he looks so easy.
I know.
They're knocking lumps out of each other behind, throw by throw, and he's just glancing around. Where are you? I've got 38 seconds. Going on to the last lap. You know, they'll look over to the right-hand side and see him, but there is a bit of a fighting force. Bilbao, Jorgensen, Aramburu, and Alaphilippe.
And here he is. Absolutely magnificent. Tadej Pogačar in his pomp, spurred on as he often has been in the past by anger at himself because of Quebec. Half a minute he's got, and in a few moments' time he's going to be staring him down. How magnificent is this? So takes on the big peak for the last time, and indeed he rocks up and over the top. I think these two groups may well come together in this final lap, actually. Look at that, tempoing beautifully, but you can see the effort as well, the way the elbows are just starting to swan wing here, Brian.
Yes, indeed. Bilbao did look steady. Aramburu was slightly tired, and I did say at the top of the hill 45 to 50 seconds. And it looks as if it's going to be round about that. Look behind, where are you guys? You know, he's just... once you wind this guy up, there's no stopping him.
Tadej Pogačar pedal through without any fear of drowning his pedal. He's just at one with his machine. There was a millimetre, I swear, between the bottom of the pedal stroke and indeed the surface of the road. He lent it in, he absolutely nailed that corner, powered through it, not a power corner for anybody else, and that shows the confidence of this man. This man shines brightly all the time. It feels like his era now, Brian. It's hard to declare that with so many great riders, of course, and great rivals. Jonas Vingegaard, of course, Primož Roglič, but boy, oh boy, he's separating himself from everybody, isn't he?
No stopping this man, looking behind to see where he is, nowhere to be seen.
$1,700 metres to go. You know what? He's going to be looking into the eyes of Pello Bilbao. I don't think anyone else is going to be down on the hairpin before he gets there. How fabulous is this? There's the Flamme Rouge just about to be taken by Tadej Pogačar. Tadej Pogačar has won here in Montreal, and for goodness sake, when does the winning stop? We just don't know.
Alaphilippe, who's at it. So Julian Alaphilippe starts to open up. Little gap. Here goes Alaphilippe going full crack this time. Looking over his shoulder. On the drops, Alaphilippe. Maxim Van Hil's coming across to it, but he's being covered as well. This is good packing by Lotto Destiny.
Is that Pogačar chasing?
Yes, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is Pogačar in third. They're fourth in that group. There he goes again. It's almost as if he heard me suggesting he didn't have a second kick. There is that second kick, but what's in it? How much can he distance Tadej Pogačar? He's got Tadej Pogačar himself chasing him down, Hutch.
Tadej Pogačar hasn't had any trouble with that.
This is dangerous though, because ditaly is now tucked in this group. There he is. He doesn't need to do anything yet. He's got two teammates there. Pogačar going now, 2k to go. ditaly is just getting onto his wheel. So ditaly is trying to grapple, climbing-wise, with the guy who's already won the Giro and the Tour de France, and he's doing it. Look at this. Arnaud ditaly is arguably the best sprinter in the race, and he is hanging on to Tadej Pogačar. This is an amazing ride by the defending champion, the Belgian champion. Tadej Pogačar looks round, and he sees he's got the best sprinter in the race locked on his wheel. Is there no limit to Arnaud ditaly's talents? fascinating four up at the front of the race. We're not even really seeing what's going on behind, but we've teased out the two big favourites, our two big favourites, Hutch as well, between ditaly and Pogačar. Ditaly, I think, possibly just laying off a little bit to see if he can get the rush. I would not be surprised, yeah, if he takes a flyer here. But
1.4 Ks, it's early.
It is early. It is early. Now, Van Hills here, if anything, the Lotto Destiny boys now need to start their lead out from the breakaway, because that's what it is. And they might not have been expecting that as they look round. It's a breakaway where they only have one rider to beat. Unfortunately, he's the best rider in the world right now, and that's Tadej Pogačar, going for the Triple Crown in just a couple of weeks' time. Well, he looks good so far. I don't think, Hutch, we've actually seen Tadej Pogačar go deep yet at all in this race.
No, I don't think he's pressed the accelerator to the floor yet, but he's got, he's 1 against 3. Surely he can't win from this.